In terms of dimensions, the GLE and X6 are all but identical. But while the X6 seems hulking and brutish, the GLE cleverly disguises its bulk. Its true girth only apparent in close proximity to other cars. There's also something Beetle-like about the Big Merc's squat, hunched forward stance. Like the X6, the GLE mimics the cabin architecture of its siblings, with a center console layout, instruments and buttons similar to those in lesser Mercedes models.
With its air suspension, 4MATIC and hill descent, your GLE Coupé is going to be comfortable doing a bit of this.
We only planned to get the GLE's feet dirty, but it proved so capable off the beaten track that we couldn't resist exploring the limits of its abilities. Most vehicles of this kind are let down by limited wheel articulation and traction control systems that are biased towards tar road driving, but the GLE easily took steep inclines, axle twisters and loose rocks in its stride.
But all you have to do is look at the lines and the styling of the GLE Coupé and you're going to realise it's way better suited to this.
The gravel skid pan at ADA outside Hartbeespoort provided ample room for Marius to chuck this behemoth around with abandon. His exuberance was tempered, however, by the intrusive traction control, which frequently cuts back the power, even when switched off.
There's no mistaking the fact that the GLE Coupé is a really big car. Most impressive for me is actually just how much space you have in the boot. Rear head and legroom also surprisingly good, but the real challenge is how do you access as a driver the GLE Coupé. I think this is where the Minister of Police, Untitled Chapter, is going to have to rework that song where it was stomach in, chest out. In this case it's more like head in, arse out, because that's the only way I can get in without chopping my block off. Still can't do it. As much fun as it was getting the GLE dirty, this at the end of the day is what a car like this was created for. Giving you the radical SUV in-your-face presence, but with on-road manners. And it's very interesting what Mercedes-Benz have done. Obviously, direct competitor they're taking on here is BMW and the X6. And although BMW has more offerings in the X6 range, I think Merc have got it right by offering just 3. So you can get into the GLE 350, which is a 3-litre twin-turbo diesel power plant, or the petrol version, which is the 450 AMG, and that's also got a 3-litre V6 twin-turbo power plant. Or of course there's the top of the range, the AMG S, which is that 5.5-litre V8 brute of an engine. We in the 450 AMG. This engine is really good. 270 kilowatts, 520 newton meters of torque. It's plenty. You don't need any more than that. And what's interesting, it makes it more powerful than the entry-level X6 version, which is 225 kilowatts in that 3-litre. So they've done a great job with it. We're running a 9-speed gearbox. Works really well. Obviously with more spirited driving, it's not as brisk and quick on the response as the 7G gearbox that is running in the AMG. But for an everyday use, it works really well. Obviously, those of you familiar with Mercedes-Benz will know their dynamic select modes, so you can really fine-tune the suspension, the steering, and the throttle response according to your needs. What is cool, because we do run with the air suspension, if I do put it in sport mode, it actually lowers the suspension by 15 centimeters, and if I put it into Sport Plus, which is honestly where I've been driving most of the time, it lowers it another 10 centimeters. And there's one place that Mercedes-Benz has always trumped BMW, and that's the soundtrack. And this car does not disappoint. Pretty chilled if you're driving it in normal comfort mode, but the minute you put it into Sport Plus, it burbles and barks at you, and it's quite addictive. And every time you lift off, it's got that little rumble. You're going to irritate neighbors, and I can't help it. I just keep wanting to do it all the time. So which is better, BMW or Mercedes? I think the BMW is always going to be the car you're going to pick if you want to go and burst around the track. It just seems like it's more focused, more intense, more in your face from a driving and handling perspective. the GLE seems to be the car you're going to probably want to live with every single day. The ride quality is really, really good. The air suspension works exceptionally well. And even in Sport Plus mode, running on massive 21 inches are standard. We've actually got optional extra 22 inches. On our road conditions, it's really a comfortable drive in comfort mode or in Sport Plus. And I think that is kind of where it's going to trump what you're going to get from the X6, which is a lot firmer, more sport orientated, no matter which version you're driving. The way the environmentalists have been going on, you'd probably think the days of the SUV are numbered, but for Mercedes-Benz, in actual fact, it feels like the year of the SUV. The GLK has been replaced by the GLC, which we are now going to get in South Africa. The ML, or the GLE as we know it now, has just been revised. They've also brought out the all-new GLE Coupé. There's also a GLS coming our way. It wasn't too long ago that people were saying, what is the point of an SUV that's trying to be a sports car, that's trying to be a coupé? And now you have the GLE Coupé, and suddenly it all makes sense.